something new, something something new. Hello, hello, and welcome today. My name is Nkele Makia, the current CEO and the founder of MedQuiz. And today we will be presenting to you something new. So right now, before I get into what we want to show you, our new product, let's get let's get back to the foundation of where we are, where we come from, so that you will know us better and understand our story. So for those that don't know, background. For those that don't know me, I am from Cameroon, and in Cameroon we have two major languages, that is the English and the French language. And of those two languages, the one that I was born into, or that was my major language, was English. And due to that, due to that fact, from nursery school to till I had my A level, I did all of my education in English. So that means I had classes, English, exams, and so on. But despite that, I also had I also spoke French. But the issue was that French was more of a social language rather than a professional stuff. So in school or during exams or any competitive stuff, I would do it in English. But when it comes to social interactions, I could do it both in English and French. But then I had my A levels in 2020, and I decided to do the entrance exam into the medical school of my country. And then in 2020, when I passed, I was happy. I was happy, and I was excited for the new journey that was ahead of me. But uh, but when I got there, I was told that it will be a little bit different from what I used to know in high school. So I would start to learn more in French than in English. So I said, okay, that since I spoke French, that maybe it might not be that different. So I decided to try. Indeed, my first day in class was something else. Really, believe me. The, the problem I faced was that, quite alright, as I said, I spoke French. But the issue was, it was a different experience being in a being in a French being in a French class, having to listen, to write, I don't know, but it was a different experience. It was something that I had never done before, so I didn't know how to adapt. And to really show you how I felt, I placed this picture here to show you. So here was little me in class. Everyone, so here was what people actually saw. A little boy, a little dark skinny guy in class, always smiling and everything. But little did they know that inside of me, there were a lot of stuff that were going on. At the same time, I was trying to listen to what the professor was saying. At the same time, I was trying to understand. And the issue was that I didn't know whether I had to understand in English or in French. I didn't know. And so it really became a huge problem. A problem because I didn't know what to do. I, I had to choose, like, do I want to study in English or in French? And so I felt that this language barrier became a big issue for me. And to really tell you, the fact was that The problem wasn't at the level of speaking, it was at the level of understanding because medicine is not any kind of course that is very easy, or I don't know, like English language or French that was straightforward. It was something much more complex. We were dealing with a lot of new terms and complex theories, and so I had to get used to. The problem I faced was at the level of understanding. No, it was at at the level of comprehension. So actually, up here, I listened or I heard what the professor was saying in French quite all right. But at the back of my mind, I couldn't join those words and make meaning out of it. The issue was I didn't understand the context. And to solve this, what I started to do was I spent a lot of hours trying to translate the notes from French to English. But the issue was in 2020, I hadn't yet got a laptop and things like that. So I still had a lot of books. That meant that I would go to class at 7 a.m., copy so many notes, so many notes, so many notes. And then I would have to come back home and translate all of those notes one by one. And to be frank with you, doing that every single time became a real problem because I really got tired of that. If that wasn't all, when it came to answering questions for our exams, it was a different story. The issue was the questions were also in French. They had told me that they would also give us English questions, but they were also in French. So I had two jobs here. I had to understand the notes in French, understand the questions in French, and what the professor was expecting from us. There were times that I took the French questions, I would try to go through them, but it didn't make any sense to me. So what I tried to do was I tried to translate the questions and also from French to English. And with that, I used Google Learns. So I would take the past questions booklets, scan the words, scan the question, and translate. But the problem I faced with that also is Google didn't always give me the meaning behind the text. And even though it did, I didn't know where to get the answer from in the first place. And so it really became a challenge to me. It got to a point where I felt, and it got to a point where I felt all was lost. I felt frustrated. Not that I didn't know, but I hadn't yet found the right approach in medical school, in the notes and everything. So the problem wasn't just the language, but it was how to really amend everything, the language problem, questions and comprehension. It came to a point when I thought myself, how can I how can I create a bridge? Because right now I had developed a lot of stress because of that, because I was always stressed up and everything. And so I started to find a way, like, what if we could create something like an app or a platform? Because by that time, I had no idea. So I was just like trying to think of something. Like, what if we created something not just for myself, not just for myself, because I believe that there were many others that were going through this situation, or many others that will still go through this situation, and they may not know what to do. The plan was I thought of, what if we could include questions and notes, but not just questions in themselves. What about also adding answers? Because I personally, there were times that Just to answer a single question, I will take like the whole day. And if you have exams tomorrow, really you don't want to be in that kind of situation. But not only that, I don't want people to cram. So we could also add something like explanations to those answers on on how we got them, why we got them, and why we didn't choose the others. And so with all of that in mind, it was really a hard thing to do. And then also I thought of once we have all of this, would it just be for a particular set of people, maybe the francophones, or what if we could make something that was available for both sides, so as to provide the same opportunities for everyone? And by this thought, I knew it would be a game changer in the sense that it will really change the way I personally studied, and it will affect the lives of millions of others. Right now, let's go to some current solutions because I want you to really understand the problem we faced and what we did to solve them. Currently, we have we had these current solutions. The current solutions included one, your mobile phone, your professor's notes either in PowerPoint or in PDF format, WhatsApp, past questions, Google search, Google Translate, and ChatGPT. But mind you, ChatGPT wasn't there in my first year, or it came just of recent. For an intro, the way I see the phone is an access way. It's an access way compared to what our predecessors had in the past. They had no phones, so they had no way to really communicate between themselves. But right now, we had the power of a phone. And so, with the phone, we could reach a lot of people through WhatsApp. And not just that, we could also have a lot of questions and also receive past questions through the phone. But in my school, the issue was the phone didn't have questions. No, and the issue was that in my school, the questions were not, you know, they were not digitalized. So we had to buy a physical copy of the book. But the problem I saw with the phone was that I had some friends that usually they got harassed. And so just imagine that you had all of your notes in your phone, and then all of a sudden the phone got missing and your exams were tomorrow. I mean, really, it will really become a challenge for you. And so, despite the fact that the phone was very, very accessible for everyone, yet we still had some drawbacks of what if I lost my phone? How will I get back those same notes, questions, and everything? And the next solution that I want to talk about is Google. Google really is an amazing tool. Google has a particular feature I love about it is Google Translate. With Google Translate, I was able to translate some of my notes from French to English if they were in a PDF format. And it was also good in a sense that it was really easy to use. In fact, it was intuitive. But the problem I had with Google Translate or with Google was that for Google itself, sometimes when you search on the web for the answer to a particular question, you would have a lot of information, and sometimes the information was contradictory. And so I didn't know which answer to choose or which source to believe in. And then not just that, we also had Google Translate. Earlier, I told you that sometimes I would take my time and translate my notes and questions. But the issue was that There were some times that the translated notes and the question didn't make any sense, and so I would still have to go back to do more research, which took me a lot of time. The next solution we'll be talking about is WhatsApp. With WhatsApp is really a wonderful tool. With WhatsApp, we are able to reach a lot of people, just from the comfort of your phone. And but the problem with WhatsApp is that really your experience on WhatsApp is really limited. No, it's really dependent on the quality of presence you have. So if you don't have the right people, like maybe seniors, or I don't know, but if you don't have the right people, you won't be able to have the best experience possible. The next thing is past questions and ChatGPT. The advantage of having past questions was that there were a lot of things that somebody could do and treat before the exams, so you could really get ready. But the issue was, as most of the questions for me were in French, there were times that I had a lot of time to really answer the questions, and by doing a lot of French questions, I lost a bit of my English part of me, because I felt as I was I was simulated into something that I wasn't part of. And then with that also, he didn't also have answers. So there were times that just to have the answer to the right question, especially like in something like in Biostats, I would take a lot of time and ask a lot of friends, but still I won't be sure of my answer. The next tool I want to talk about is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is in fact excellent. But the problem with ChatGPT was that by that time it was still limited, and not many people really knew how to bring out its potential. And so right now, those are the solutions that we have highlighted. The phone, notes, either in a PowerPoint format or in a PDF format, the questions, Google search, Google Translate, and ChatGPT. So what now? What now? As I said earlier, the goal was, what if we could use the power of the phone and create something that has the notes, that wasn't dependent on people, that also had questions, and that helped us to save a lot of time through the power of artificial intelligence, through using ChatGPT. In that light, that's when I took the biggest risk ever. I decided to work on something that I believe would change the future, and I call it MedQuiz. MedQuiz is a medical application meant to help medical students of any age, from any school, in their medical studies. Through MedQuiz, we want to help people of every language, people who have people who had the problems that we had, and we want to tell them that MedQuiz is for you. So, how do we access MedQuiz? Currently, MedQuiz is in all platforms, notably Android, on Windows. That means that you can work on MedQuiz on your phone, in the toilet, or on your laptop if you want to. Or also, if you have an iPhone or a Mac, it works everywhere. And that is the power of MedQuiz. MedQuiz is not just limited to your phone, but it works everywhere, and it will help you in a sense that if your phone get missing, you can always interchange, or 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 you will never get locked. And the next question is, how do you access MedQuiz? Currently, MedQuiz is available through this link, medquiz.co, or you can also scan this code to access it. The next feature that we'll be talking about is the design of MedQuiz. Because in the solution, we wanted to create something that was for everyone and that was very easy to use. And based on that, we created a very special design called intuitive design. So here is the homepage of your MedQuiz app. If you log in, you see how it's very beautiful, and we took time to make something as good as this so that everyone could relate, because we just don't provide the medical terms in French but also in English, so that you would also be able to improve your English vocabulary. And here is another screenshot of what we provide in MedQuiz. Then the next thing that we provide and we thought useful was the search. So usually when you receive Okay. Right. So initially, I thought of the phone and the problem we faced with the phone. The problem we faced with the phone was that was with that as time went on, we received a lot of notes, and there were some people who ended up not having enough space in their phones, and the phones were sometimes prone to theft. With the cloud, that issue is solved. From the notes to the questions and everything is stored on the cloud. This means what? If your phone ever gets missing, you don't have to run through a friend to ask for the notes. No, you can just get your parents' phone or someone's phone and just go to medquiz.co, and you will continue from where you ended. Not just that, we also have a feature called blogs. With blogs, we provide you with tips and tricks. Tips and tricks in the sense that we show you and teach you the best way to approach certain subjects. It's because, as I told you earlier, when I came to medical school, I didn't have I wasn't experienced enough to know the best approach to certain courses. And so with blogs, we really want to help those students. Maybe that you are going through a hard time in a particular course. We are going to help you and teach you how to approach that particular course and how to excel in it. So for now, that was my quiz. Concerning the prices, we are starting at 1,000 francs per month, and for that price, we offer you close to 1,300 courses from the first to the fourth year. And our second tier called the Pro, it starts at just 2,000 francs from a price of 5,000. And in this feature, you would not just have the 1,300 notes in French, but you have the notes both in English and in French. And in addition to that, we will be offering you more than 1,500 questions, still from the first to the fourth year. The next package we have is Max. Max is la crème de la crème. This is where we create our magic. With Max, we are creating something new. We just don't want to combine these two, but we also want to provide you answers and explanations. And with the cost of our development, we will provide through Max the answers and explanations in both languages. So that said, if the question was in French, we will provide the answers and explanation in both French and English. And the aim of all of this is we actually want people to understand where we are going to and where we come from. And that said, we want to thank you very much for believing in MedQuiz and helping to build the future with us. Thank you very much. Okay.